Yes, hello. My name is Patrick Cohrs, and I'm here to introduce a course that my colleague, Professor Mauro Campos, and I have designed for this spring semester. It focuses on the United States and the remaking of global order in the 20th century. When we look at the international role of the United States nowadays, we might think of President Trump, destructive behavior, the United States becoming one of the most imminent threats to peace and order around the world. But this course is designed to show that in order to understand how we got here, but also what an important role the United States has played in the making of what we might call the modern international order, we need to go back in history. And we need to understand what a major transformation, both the role of the United States and the idea of what a global order was, underwent in the 20th century. And in order to show this, the course is divided in three main parts. The first part looks at the very origins of how the United States came into being something like a world power in the era of the First World War. We then, in a second segment, look at the major changes, but also the problems that arose when the American President Woodrow Wilson wanted to create a new world order and a peace to end all wars after the First World War. But we will also see how this did not quite come to fruition, how this failed in the very end. But then in the third segment we will look at the period, and this is a very important and formative period after the Second World War, in which the United States played a very important role, not just in remaking Europe and in creating institutions like the North Atlantic Alliance and the programs of the Marshall Plan, but in the context of the Cold War, really becoming one of the main superpowers, dominating and setting the rules of world politics. We look at the achievements, but also the crisis of this project. We look at the political, but also, and this is especially Professor Campos' specialty, the financial and economic role the United States played in setting up a new economic order. We eventually will get to the challenges to this order in the post-Cold War era and to the current crises. It might also be important to mention that we will be focusing in some ways on the relations between governments and states and the evolution of the state system, but this course is also designed to show that there were many other actors who, in the United States, but also in other countries, were trying to think about new ways of ordering the world, who tried to campaign for a more peaceful world, a world that was based on human rights, and other values that were not very prevalent in earlier stages. We will also look at the influence of Americanization and anti-Americanism in the course of this 20th century. And eventually we hope that by understanding all these different dimensions of the relations between the United States and the wider world, we might also understand the 21st century better. In terms of expectations we have of those who take this course, you should be especially interested in actively engaging in discussions, in presenting your own views, but also discussing with the other participants in the course. Each of the students will be asked to give an oral presentation as well on a particular topic. And apart from that, we will really focus on trying to give you an opportunity, but also some guidance in eventually writing at the very end of the course an independent research paper on a topic of your choice that we will advise you, that we will offer advice in terms of the subject and the approach you might want to adopt. So, if you're interested in not just understanding why there's so much crisis in the 21st century, but also what we have to understand about the 20th century in order to see where this world is headed in the future, you might be interested in this course. Thank you.